Okay, fellas, look, we've got our new front and rear wings on the car this weekend, so that's very exciting. But we've only had enough time to manufacture 4 spares, okay? So just try not to hit too many things, okay? No, mate, that's 4 spares in total, not 4 spares each. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today we have the Emiliano Romagna Grand Prix. I think I got that first time. Excellent stuff. And so San Marino, IMOLA basically. And well, let's hope it's a little bit better than last race in Melbourne where we did not score a point. We were maybe a little bit unlucky, I think, with Sargeant getting stuck in that DRS train. But we need to rebound here with hopefully a strong result. You can see we've dropped down to 4th in the Constructors and Logan is also 4th in the Drivers, which is fantastic. It's as high as he's ever been. Crawford, well, he is 19th with 0 points, but hopefully, again, we can change that this race. Now, there is a little bit to catch you up on. In fact, now, as I said, the front and rear wings have been manufactured. We'll throw those on the car in a second. But the other thing that has happened is a regulation change for next season has been voted upon. We had the option of voting for high-speed wing changes or low-speed wing changes. Now, we know that our car is stronger in low speed, so my thought was, well, if we 30% of less is better for us than losing 30%. You know, other teams losing 30% of something that's good is better than losing 30% of something that's bad for us. It should bring them a little bit closer to us. So that's what we voted for. That's what's gone through. So we still will have a little bit of a loss on our low speed, but that should still be a strength for us, relatively speaking, to everybody else. And the high speed wings will come back a little bit more towards us. So that begs the question. We can now start researching next year's car. At what point do we start doing that? Now, I'm a little bit conscious of the fact that I might get sacked if we go too badly this year. And we do have, of course, the ability to do more projects now. So, yeah, I'm just wondering exactly at what point it is that we go and start doing that. Now, you can see that we have, well, we're building a new chassis because of crashes last race. But we also have a suspension that's being done along with the underfloor. And the suspension is being done without any research time. The underfloor, though, is a major upgrade project. And the other thing that we've done is we do have a suspension that we're getting. Oh, no, sorry, a chassis. Yeah, a chassis as well, which will be a couple of days later. I think it's 4-6 days later. So, yeah, we're doing a little bit to try and get things done in between. But the major research time upgrade to come next is the floor, which, as we can see there, is about a week away. So hopefully next race, possibly the one after that, depending how long it takes for everything to come through. Now, the front and rear wings are done. Let's have a look and see what that's going to do for the car. If we show rank on grid here, this is what I mean when I say 30%. So if we lose 30% of that, it's a bigger number basically than losing 30% of that. But there is more. I don't really know what I'm talking about in terms of the numbers, but I think that makes sense anyway. Maths was never my strong point. All right, let's have a look and install things on the car here. Show rank on grid. So it's going to medium speed corner is a big improvement here for us, so that's good. And in dirty air as well. So hopefully that'll help us race a little bit as well. If we're improving in dirty air, so when we're behind another car, that can only be a good thing. The rear wing, is it going to help us too much on... it doesn't really help the top speed or acceleration, does it? It is going to help cornering, and it is going to help DRS acceleration. We'll be the best car on the grid with that now. So let's hope that does something for us. Cooling, brake, and engine and acceleration are still, though, big weaknesses of this car, aren't they? Now, the drivers, we do have some development points here. Everybody has a development point, so that's good to see. Now, we know we've got to work on smoothness for Sargeant. He needs to be able to get his tyres a little bit further into races for us. Crawford, I think we're still looking to make him a bit quicker, aren't we? So we'll do that. And Caleb Frederick, we're just trying to turn him into a race driver, basically, aren't we? So let's try and get his control up a little bit. But ultimately... it doesn't really matter what he does. Staff, do we have any development points here? I should have checked beforehand. No, we don't. Facilities, nothing to catch you up on. So let's go and have a look at the race weekend, the circuit. Now, it looks like we've got a dry weekend, which always makes it a little bit more simpler for me. For qualifying purposes, red is Sector 1, blue Sector 2, yellow Sector 3. For the most part, it's a little bit like Melbourne, this one, isn't it? We've got a couple of traction zones, a couple of sort of what's the yellow medium speed corners, so it's a little bit slower overall than what Melbourne is, but it's got some very similar characteristics, so that doesn't necessarily bode well. Time considerations: safety car stop is about 10 seconds or so slower than a regular stop, but a regular stop does cost you a lot of time compared to what it can be. One stop race, it looks like. If you can do a medium soft, no, sorry, if you can do a hard to soft, then medium to hard should be a relatively good strategy for us to do. The drop off is relatively low and not that much difference between the soft and the hard, and in terms of a time, there's not that much difference in the time either. So yeah, that is kind of a bit of all the tyres are roughly the same, aren't they? This time last year, K-Mag 4th, Sargeant 9th. So he has scored points here before, and historically, it's going to be a Red Bull win if that system continues, isn't it? Let's have a look at our performance targets. Qualifying result, someone in the top 8. Let's hope we can get Sargeant through to Q3 at a minimum. It'd be nice to see if we get Crawford up there a little bit as well. Final position, someone in the top 8. We'll try for that. And qualifying, we need a car in the top 10. We're one away from getting 2 million, over 2 million for that. And a finishing streak, as I keep saying, if Crawford scores a point, he might do it in one race. He's not going to do it 3 in a row. There's absolutely no way. So we will not live in hope of that one. Anyway, let's head off to San Marino and see what we can do. So there we go, confirmation. It's clear skies Friday, Saturday, a bit cloudy on Sunday, but not expecting any rain. Go and do some free practice. Let's hope that Sargeant doesn't run out the back of anybody this time, and I'll see you for qualifying. Alright, so free practice is done. Yes, both of them have ruined one of their front wings. Luckily, we've been able to emergency manufacture a couple of others, so we should be good to go. P1, we can see here, the Alpines have clearly brought an upgrade to this one. K-Mag doing everybody proud up there. As for us now, bearing in mind, we did lose front wings on both cars. Only got a hard tyre run in, so we kind of have to take everything with a pinch of salt on that one. FP2, though, was a little bit better. Sargeant there in 11th and Crawford in 14th. So we take that, I think, if that's how qualifying ended up, although preferably Sargeant just one place up. And in FP3, again, Sargeant in 11th. Crawford was down there in 20th. Now, he has some knackered parts on his car for free practice because of the crash in Melbourne that Sargeant gave him. So yeah, it's not necessarily quite as bad as it looks for him. His engine is, as I say, a little bit knackered. So, yeah, that is that. We'll do Q1. I live in hope that it'll be fine for Crawford. I suspect we will be back momentarily to see how Crawford is going to do on his final run in Q1. But let's hope he's fine. So, there we go. We didn't have to come back. Crawford is through. Sargeant 8th and Crawford only just. But to be honest, it was only just, actually. Maybe we should have come back. He's fine. He's fine. The important thing is that he survived. Let's go to Q2. All right. Now, Crawford is currently in 12th, so he's not a million miles away from being able to get himself into Q3 here, which would be a first in his career, I believe. Sargeant is currently in 7th. Both runs, were done on used tyres for the first run. That is Sargeant just in front of us there. Yellow first sectors all round, so that's not ideal. What's the general vibe of things here? So there are not many people going quick up. We've both done green middle sectors though. Crawford, as maybe expected, has dropped down to 14th. Sargeant 9th. So Sargeant needs to go quick up potentially. He has gone 6th, and Crawford, he stays 15th. So Crawford eliminated. He will start the Grand Prix 15th. We got it split the Ferraris there, which Alpine have bought an upgrade, haven't they? They are suddenly very, very quick indeed. And yeah, well, Alfa Romeo's looking pretty good as well. Let's go to Q3, see where Sargeant's going to start this one. Alright, so Sargeant coming around for his second run now. I've messed this up. We're mid-pack. I think we're the 5th car on track, so I've come out a little bit too soon. Now, we did do, given that I'm not expecting us to use a soft tyre in the race, we're still going to have one set of new softs, but we've done both runs on new tyres. Now, he's done a green first sector, which is good. We're currently sitting 6th, if I didn't say that. Let's have a look at what some of the other sector times are like here. There's some purples there. K-Mag with a purple first sector behind us, and Verstappen as well. So that's potentially down to 8th for us. Albon's done a good first sector as well, but Sargeant's improving. Can Sargeant get in front of one of the Ferraris? Can he split the Ferraris? We're not going to know for sure, of course. We're going to have to wait to find out. But we cross the line and we stay 7th. We're down to 8th. And it looks as though we're going to start the race from 8th, which is slightly disappointing, maybe. So 8th place for Sargeant. If he had matched his time from last session, he would have got ahead of. He would have split the Ferraris again and started 7th. But anyway, we can't worry about that, can we? K-Mag though, look at that, up in 3rd. Love to see that from K-Mag. Alright, so what do we do in terms of strategy? If medium hard is going to be the way to go, you can do a hard to soft, you know. Alright, let's with Sargeant go medium to hard. We can push on a little bit there. If we maybe even look to extend potentially that first stint, and then if we push, yeah, so we can have a real push on the hard tire then. Or wait a second, brainwave. What if we start on the hard? We'll be able to push pretty much halfway through the race, then go onto a medium, and everybody else is going onto hards. That like, and then we have the potential option to go to a soft tire as well. So I like that with Sargeant. The question is, what do we want to do with Crawford? And is he someone we put onto a soft tire later on in the race? And potentially the answer to that is yes. Again, start on a hard, go as far as we can. And we probably want to be on a soft tire as soon as we can. So somewhere around that. Alright, so that's a little bit racier for Crawford. And of course there's a medium tire for him to put on if we were to get a safety car. So that's the way I think we're going to shape up and do this. We can push with Sargeant. We know that on the hard tire. And Crawford will just need to make his go a little bit further into the race. Alright, let's go and do this. Alright, welcome back. Here we go. An Alpine on the front row. It's the first time we've seen that. And that, of course, is a little bit problematic for us potentially. Given that means that they could, you know, maybe nick us for fourth in the Constructors. But we'll see. Mercedes look a little bit weaker this year. So maybe that is just kind of where things are going to shake out. We'll still be the fourth best team. But yeah, we've got to worry about Alfa Romeo, of course, as well, because K-Mag's looking quite quick. Is he going to carry that team? Similar to how we were carrying our team to a very good finish in the Constructors as well. But here we go, Sargeant wheel-to-wheel with Carlos Sainz. No, you don't really want to be on the outside of that chicane, but he's made it work for him. He's going to be inside for this next corner, and that should be job done. It is, I think. And he moves up to 6th and is all over the back of Max Verstappen now as well. Crawford still in 15th, but of course he is not pushing on anywhere near as much. Now I know that I said we want to try and not push the tyres and not force drivers into mistakes. I think this is a sort of a strategy decision. Maybe there's an argument to say we could have gone onto the softs with Sargeant and we wouldn't have been pushing quite so much. But let's see what he can do. Is he going to put a similar move on Max Verstappen here? Yes, he is. And can he now go and get past an Alpine of Ocon as well? A wonderful start to the race for Logan Sargeant. Now, we've gone through, of course, our ERS, but we'll get DRS now. And the sort of track that this is, you know, DRS can really keep you in a train of cars. So we'll see how this works. We've got Sargeant 5th. Crawford is still down there in 15th, which is absolutely fine. But, yeah. Let's see if we can keep it on the track. That's the first battle here, isn't it? And there it is. There it is, Logan. Well done, mate, you muppet. Unbelievable. Down to 18th. Ahead of Verstappen, who already had a lock-up. So it happens to the best of them, I suppose. So one thing that we could look to use here, Perez and Verstappen have also had incidents that have dropped them to the back. If Sargeant can stay with them, and you know, let them pulling back up to the back of the pack. Of course, the issue is going to be whether he's able to.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
Another guy running wide, Albon. The issue, of course, is going to be whether he can go through the pack with them. But I've broken my own rule here, haven't I? I said we were just going to accept results, the results that we could. I've just kicked the light there. I'm not quite sure if that's ruined anything. I think it's okay. Yeah, and I've tried to push him, haven't I? So that it's my own fault for doing that. But anyway, points look difficult now, don't they? We'll need a safety car, I think. Okay, so what I'm doing here is we're going to switch Sargeant's strategy. So he'll go to the same strategy that we have Crawford on. If I'm not going to push him, it makes sense to try and do this. He's not doing too badly though. If we go back to the race view here, he's right with Perez and Verstappen. Sorry, they are taking him back up through the field. We're a little bit stuck behind Ricciardo just now, but 15th and 10th for Crawford, who is going back and forth with Norris. Crawford's doing a solid race so far. we can see there's a little bit of a battle just within sight of him as well. And Sargeant, if he hadn't made that mistake, it could be a case of what could have been for him. But pit stops are starting as well, which is bringing us back through the field a little bit. But yeah, Crawford up to 9th now with that stop for Bottas. And of course, we've got a soft tyre for both cars to come now later on in the race. As we might need to make sure we get past Denny Rick here to stay with Verstappen and Perez. We do not want them getting... You can see we're just conserving his tyres a little bit, though, to try and eke it out to get to the softs, having pushed a little bit too hard maybe at the start there. But we do need to get this done on Denny Rick. Please, Logan. It is very, very important for our race that this move gets done down this straight and not a second later, please and thank you. Come on, mate, you've got to do it. You've just got to get it done, and he can't. He's DRS trained, and well, that could be the end of our Verstappen piggyback back through the field. Piggyback, I should say, back through the field. Can we get something up the hill? No. Into the chicane would be a good place. The gap is still under a second, so we would still get DRS. But of course, the issue is that we need to get it done outside of a sort of a traditional zone, because the DRS Ricciardo has it as well. It's not going to piggyback us far enough, and I dare say that might be that gone. And yeah, well, we'll see what we do here. 9th for Crawford right now, 14th for Sargeant. We're staying with them, and it looks like Gasly's come out of the pits just in front of us as well. So, of course, the problem is that we owe everybody a pit stop, don't we? What we're going to need a late race safety car here once we're on the soft tyres. It's the only way we're going to be able to come back and get points, I think. But anyway, long way to go. We're not even halfway yet. Alright, so we're just entering our pit window now for the soft tyres. I've got to say, I mean, Crawford is doing an absolutely wonderful job so far. He's up there in 5th. Obviously, he owes a pit stop, and that is going to change, and he'll drop back towards the back of the pack, I would imagine, but obviously a soft tyre to hopefully come back through. He's just doing a really, really good job. Sargeant is back up to 10th. We have officially lost the back of Verstappen and Perez now. It's a 6-second gap. We just can't quite break clear of Daniel Ricciardo. We sort of DRS back and forth with him, but yeah, he owes us a stop. There's a few, I think there's a few here that haven't stopped yet. So yeah, we'll see where this brings us out. Ocon could be on for a race win here. You know, he's got a nice gap, and Alpine's currently 1st and 2nd. They'll be delighted with that, won't they? But there we go. This is what's been happening to Sargeant and Ricciardo. Just can't quite now go and kick clear of him. But yeah, pit stops are just around the corner for us, and yeah, well, we'll see what we can do once we've made them. Alright, so we are doing a double stack pit stop. There should be more than you can see on the mini-map there. There's quite a gap between the two cars, so hopefully it'll be fine. We're expecting Crawford to come out in 15th, so around about Vettel. Now, that could put him ahead of everybody else that's on sort of the same stop, but on a medium tyre. They're on a medium tyre, we'll be on a soft tyre. But a lot of this is going to come down to how good a stop we can manage to do. As Sargeant pulls in behind us. Hopefully it'll be a nice smooth one. 2.6 is not too bad. Crawford goes out. Sargeant comes in 2.7. And let's see where that brings us out here. So Crawford in 14th. Sargeant is, well, he's back in 19th. That's what you get for spinning though, isn't it, mate? Alright, well, let's see what we can do from now to the end. Soft tyres. It's go time. Alright, so we've had a couple of laps now on the soft tyres. Crawford is in 11th, ahead of Verstappen and Perez. Now, I suspect they will catch and pass him. He does have a little bit of a gap there right now. But points are not inconceivable here. Now, last lap, he is almost a second faster than Vettel. We've got Verstappen half a second faster behind him. But it's not impossible that it's not impossible, I should say, that Crawford could run down some cars in front here and well, score a point or two, his first career points. Sargeant is, again, flying. He's done the fastest lap of the race. It's unlikely to mean a point because he's that much further back again. If we could get a late race safety car, I have to kick the light again, a safety car anytime now would be fantastic news for us. because we have a soft tyre. Now, Verstappen has a soft tyre as well, as does Perez and Ricciardo behind us. But we're the and Ocon as well. But we're the only ones. So, yeah, let's wait and see how this plays out. But a safety car would be a truly magnificent thing at this point. Alright, now Logan Sargeant is the fastest man on track. He has caught Perez, who was holding up Tsunoda and Guan Yu Zhou. We're going to try and get some overtakes done here. The issue we're going to have, of course, is just being in this DRS train. Hopefully the tyre advantage will work in our favour. But I'm not quite sure exactly how we're going to get this done. It's going to have to be forceful. This could be the moment round the outside, but it will give us an inside run here, and there we go. Job done on that one. Now we've got Zhou and Perez to go as well, and if he can keep up this pace, there is an outside chance that Sargeant could get himself some points here as well. We'll just do a little bit of a harvest, since I don't think we're going to get an overtake here, or maybe we can. But yeah, Perez, for whatever reason, what tyres is he on? He's on a soft. He must have damaged his car, because he is very, very slow. As Verstappen overtakes Crawford for 12th. Now, if Crawford can just stay with him, Verstappen could very much tow him up into the points. We can see both of them are catching these cars in front. It's Russell that is holding up a train. So, I mean, arguably 7th. With 9 laps to go is not completely out of the question here for Jack Crawford. As you don't need to put a move on Verstappen, mate. Just sit with him. Just sit with him. And we still can't quite get anything done on these two. Let's go a bit of overtake and see if we can do a similar move that we pulled on Guan Yu Zhou on Tsunoda. Oh, it's not completely impossible, but this is where we need a good run out of this corner. It didn't quite happen for us, did it? So we'll need to have a bit of a rethink, and we do need to get this move done quickly, because it is going to start and really hold us back here. But anyway, I'll keep you posted here. I think Crawford's going to score points, you know. I really, really do. Okay, so we've done a harvest lap or so with Crawford, and, well, Verstappen has just moved himself past Vettel. Crawford could be about to do something similar here, and there's points here. I mean, if Crawford keeps us on the track, there's still a long, long way to go, 6 or 7 laps. He's going to score points. We will go a little bit more aggressive on the ERS momentarily here, because these guys are on old, hard tyres, let's not forget. Now, there wasn't a massive disparity between the two when we checked at the start of the race, but there was enough to think that he can get this done. Let's move him to overtake round the outside of Vettel. Can he put a move on him? He should have that done now. Excellent work. He's catching Verstappen. Now, what we don't need him to do, of course, is go and stick it into a fence somewhere. But if he does stay on the track, Crawford's going to score his first World Championship points here. This is brilliant. This is really, really good stuff. Sargeant is still stuck behind these two. Let's just stick him back on overtake and see if he can get something done. But the real interest here is with Crawford, who, out of absolutely nowhere, is very much on for points here. Come on, mate. Come on.
DRS is currently disabled.
I mean, he couldn't get a move on Verstappen, could he? That would be asking a little bit too much, I think. But still 4 laps to go, or 5 laps to go. I can never figure it out, because you do the 63rd lap, so it's 5 laps to go, isn't it?
Alpha Tower, he gained a place.
As Tsunoda has got back past Sargeant. So Sargeant is still in 15th. Look at this, he's got Verstappen. Crawford has just put a move on Max Verstappen. Well, well, well. No one thought we were going to be seeing that today. Crawford's into the points. We'll just watch his fuel consumption a little closely here. And let's stick him onto overtake. Oh, Verstappen's got him back, which is fair enough. But let's see what we can do here. Come on, Crawford. He's right, such a good... It really makes you wonder if I hadn't if I'd put Sargeant on this strategy to start with, what Sargeant could have done here. Multiple cars have crashed. Now, is this going to be a safety car? And who has crashed? It's virtual safety car. Who has crashed, though? Leclerc's got a penalty.
VSC.
We don't want to be coming into the pits.
No DRS.
But Leclerc's got a penalty, which means we're surely going to be moving up further here. What has happened?
More than one car.
What has
Let's take a
happened?
look
It
at
is
the
an
replay.
Alpine and...
Just watching the Red Bull.
So this must be for the lead, is it? An Alpine and Leclerc. Leclerc has just ploughed into the back. And what's happened to that Alpine, I wonder?
Absolute carnage.
Is it Gasly or Ocon? Where is this going to... where is this going to leave us, I wonder? We'll try and conserve some fuel while we're doing this.
And leave core increase, please.
Under the virtual safety car. There's going to be a few laps to go. Leclerc will surely have to stop. And he's got a time penalty if he doesn't. We'll come back when racing resumes and just see exactly what is going to transpire here. Okay, so virtual safety car has just ended. We've managed to save a little bit of fuel during that, so we can really push going at the end of straights and whatnot. And it doesn't look like either Leclerc or the Alpine, I don't know which Alpine it was, has had to come into the pits. Now, surely Leclerc has knackered his front wing. But let's see if we can get a move done here with Jack Crawford on Lando Norris in front. Now, of course, these two were battling at the start of the race. And not much going on there. We've got to use the overtake a little bit wisely. Let's just stick you on to overtake now, Sargeant. You can just drain that. You're stuck. You need to get that done. And let's now have a look at some overtake here in a little bit of a weird spot, perhaps, but we'll use our soft tyres a little bit better as Ocon starts the last lap. We do have Verstappen still right behind us. But it's sort of now or never really, isn't it? Come on. Can we get a double overtake? That'd be something, wouldn't it? Nice traction. The battery's empty. So it's possibly not going to happen. Can we get one done? We can. Nicely done. Crawford up into 9th. And he gets it done. Now, can he go and get a move on what's his name? Norris here. He's got some overtake on the ERS to play with.
New race position for Haas.
Come on, mate. Come on. He's already got a career best finish. He's already got his best points, first points, I should say. Can he go and add to that now with an 8th place? It doesn't look like he can. The batteries run out at just about the wrong time.
First over the line today.
And it looks as though Ocon and Gasly, so an Alpine 1-2 is going to be not great for our championship constructors. But look at that. Jack Crawford has come across to finish 9th. And that is a thing of absolute beauty. Sargeant's finished 14th. It's a waste of what could have been for him. But well done, Jack Crawford. First career points. So Charles Leclerc took a penalty. It doesn't look like it wouldn't have made much difference to us either way. But up 6 places, we see there Crawford in 9th. Sargeant 14th. Now, if he hadn't locked up and gone off the track, we were roughly around this battle, weren't we? We were ahead of Magnussen, I think. So that's maybe one that got away, and it's my fault. I shouldn't have been pushing him. I should have put him on Crawford's strategy, and that, as it turns out, was definitely the one for us to be on today. So that is partly my fault. So Sargeant drops down more. He is now 8th in the standings, but a first career points finish for Crawford moves him up to 15th. So that is very nice to see. And in the constructors, we are down to 6th, which is not great. But Alpine had a cracking race, and it's Alfa Romeo, Mercedes, and McLaren it looks like that we're going to be in a battle with. We'll do well, I think, to not come 7th this season, but we'll hopefully manage to do a little bit better than that. But there we go, that is it for today. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up. Well done, Jack Crawford. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time. Next race is either Baku, or it could be Monaco, or it could be anything, Miami even. I'm not sure what's next, but we'll find out when we get there. And yeah, leave your comments for Jack Crawford in there, because I thought he did brilliantly there. Take care.